Get my 6.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Homesteading Off the Grid. And whatever the heck this channel's about, I don't know. The longer we go on, the more I think I'm eventually going to figure it out. But the longer it goes on, the further away we get from anywhere. And that's kind of what the channel's about today. Look at that. Wasn't that beautiful? Look at it. Did you see that? That's that little, it's actually like a fly that looks like a hummingbird. Oh, it's one of my favorite insects. Okay. No, the channel's not about my attention deficit disorders today. I want to talk to you about some facts, some cold hard facts that have been fact since man first crawled out of the swamps. Okay, but which we're just now coming to understand because of social media, I honestly believe is fact, and some of the insanity that's happened here in recent years. I met an amazing young man today. I hate to be a name dropper, but I'm going to drop his name. And it's not that you're going to know it right now as I say it, but I'm going to tell you here in a few years, the world's going to know his name. At least people who like football. This young man's name is Chase Chalmers. He's a Virginia native. He's 21 years old. He's a junior at the University of Virginia, right down the road. Well, got to go into town. He is a safety for the University of Virginia, the football team. Defensive position in the backfield there on the defense, and he's really fighting hard right now to get a starting position. Nick Grant, fingers crossed, the draft isn't over yet. As of this recording, has not been drafted yet, but he's a senior. He's finished. He was our safety. He's going to get picked up by somebody. Chase Chalmers has worked very hard to get to where he is, and I believe he's going to start out as a safety. Now, don't worry. I think he's going to get the starting job as a safety. This is not a video about football. This is a video about life and what the world is coming to accept and know, which is going to empower us as individuals beyond a degree to which we've been empowered since man first crawled out of the swamp. So, Chase Chalmers. Here's how I met him today. My son Daniel is playing football this spring, flag football, and his team's doing great. We've gotten to know some of these kids and their parents. Enjoyed seeing them on Wednesdays at practice and Saturdays during games. Well, our coach, an amazing guy, phenomenal guy. I am so happy I met this guy. I hope that when season's over, that we stay in touch. I mean, he's just one of those people you meet that it's like, this guy's not going to be a passerby. There's something about this guy that's worthy of making him part of my inner circle. And and right now, the reason I'm talking about this is a case in point. He set up an event today for our team that he didn't have to do. He's volunteering for one thing, doesn't have to do this at all. But he set up an event where our team, after our game, which we played, in which we had the best game we've had this year, I believe, in IHO, however you say, in my humble opinion. It's crazy. I'm like, they say I'm a social media influencer. I don't even really understand social media. I'm just an old guy who knows how to click record and then upload and all this stuff, and it's worked out somehow. So anyway, he set up this thing where our team, after the game, went and helped out at a local, now it's a national wide not-for-profit, but they have a local branch. We went there for a couple of hours after the game and ate pizza and did a bunch of yard work. We did weeding and picked up, debris and whatnot, and made their property not just presentable, but attractive. They had some limbs and stuff laying around, leaves, sticks. You could tell it hadn't been taken care of. Well, we went through there and we cleaned it up, and it's just, you go by there now, it's like, wow, that's a good looking place right there, But the coach also set up a couple of guest speakers, surprise appearances. One of them was Chase Chalmers, who came and gave his time in the middle of a day on a Saturday, which is, we know it's a big deal for a junior in college, man. He could have been out Today's the day of the Foxfield races in Charlottesville. It's this big horse race event they have twice a year, once in the spring, once in the fall. Not only did he not go to it, when the coach asked him if he missed not being there, he didn't know what it was. And it's like the biggest thing around here this time of the year. You know why he didn't know what it was? Because his head's in the right space. His head is in what he came here to do. Attend UVA as a student and succeed as a student and play football for the UVA Cavaliers and do that to the best of his capabilities and succeed at that, and potentially, our favorite word here on this channel, go to the next level, right? Here's one of the reasons I'm so amazed at this young man. So into his thing of being responsible and productive and goal-oriented. He doesn't even know about the local, horse races, whatever. When he was talking to the kids today, he was giving a bit about his background. This guy was a track star in high school. He ran the 100, the 200, the 400. Well, I'm a track guy. For those of you who have been following the channel, no, I was a middle distance guy. I was a state champion miler, ran the 5,000, 10,000 in college. This guy was a sprinter, so it was a different breed of track star. But in high school, he qualified for the national championships in the 200 meters. This young man in high school ran 200 meters in 21.73 seconds. For those of you who don't know much about track or anything about track, what I will tell you is that is world-class speed. He had the ability to where, had he focused on track, there's no doubt in my mind he would have made an Olympic team. And there's no doubt in my mind, had everything gone right that day, he would have medaled, okay? So how did he do at the high school national championships in the 200 meters? He didn't. Because he didn't go. Well, why didn't he go? My gosh, what an honor, what a feat to qualify for the national championships and you don't go? What can take precedence over that? Did your mother die? No. They were having football camp at UVA here in Charlottesville, and he wanted to go to that football camp because he wanted to be recognized by the UVA football coaching staff and be offered a place on the team or be invited to play UVA football. I hear you. You're like, my God, once in a lifetime opportunity to go to a national championship and you skip that to go to a camp? Yeah. Why? Well, I'll tell you why. I asked him why. I'm like, I said, that had to have been one of the hardest decisions you've ever made in your life. How did you make that decision? He says, it wasn't that hard. He said, I want to play football for UVA. He knew what he wanted to do. And I'm sure he was very grateful of having that ability and very appreciative of that skill to qualify for nationals. But he wanted to play UVA football. And here he is. He's playing UVA football. Now, what is it that the world's finally coming to understand? The world is going to know about? I'm sure and I'm certain that when he made that choice to go to that football camp where there was no ESPN filming it and putting it on television, there were no, NFL scouts maybe looking for wide receivers. He did what he wanted to do. He followed his heart. He let his heart lead him. And he was confident enough to do what it is that he wanted to do, what it was he wanted to do, and he didn't care about what other people thought about it. Could you imagine how many people must have approached him with the same question I did? Oh my God, are you nuts? He did what he wanted to do. That makes him a great minority because most people in life do that which they feel other people want them to do. Human nature. A lot of times children will participate in events, sports, or hobbies or whatever because they think maybe they can please their parents, or maybe that's what their parents want them to do, or maybe that's what a teacher or somebody else wants them to do. You get on into life later, and it's like, okay, I'm going to go to college. What should I major in? Oh my gosh, well, what will please my parents? What will please my family? What will impress my neighbors? It's got to be something respectable. I've got to have a title after I graduate. I got to go into a profession where I have a title. This is the way most people live their lives. And then you get to, it doesn't take till middle age. It gets before middle age. Okay, I'm saying mid to late 30s, and I've been there. You start to question your decisions. You start to ask yourself, why is it that I've done everything correctly? I've done everything right, but I feel I'm not content. You might even be happy. You might be enjoying life. Yeah, I'm happy. And you might understand, it's allowed us to pay the bills. We got the mortgage and all these things, and we're in with this certain clique. But why do I feel unfulfilled? Well, the answer to that question is because you've always done what you felt other people wanted you to do. I've got a couple secrets for you, and I was reminded of this today by this young man I met, Chase Chalmers. Number one, most people don't care about anything you do. They don't care. A lot of times when you think, well, this person might be concerned if I don't do this or if I do this, that person probably doesn't even give a crap either way. Okay? And number two, I didn't hear anything. There were no tree knocks or anything. I didn't think I was hearing something creepy in the woods behind me. I just forgot what I was going to say for number two. Okay, number two, they didn't do what they wanted to do. And number three, could be they never knew what they wanted to do because they spent the majority of their life trying to please other people or doing what other people thought they should do. And they've never asked themselves, what is it that I want to do? We only get one chance at this thing called life. There's no do-over. This isn't a video game. How do you want to spend your days? I personally would recommend spending them the way you want to spend them if you understand or know what it is that you want to do. Somebody asked here, okay, I looked down and I saw this. Look, I was going to pull up a book, but I'm pulling this up instead. I finally completed my hand-carved black cherry spoon. What do you think? I just started this. I just started carving, and this was my first spoon. I had to wait for my hook knife to come in so I could get this bowl part of it cleaned out really good, really well, as they say in Charlottesville. The back's maybe still a little rough, but I say not bad for a first impression, right? And stop right there. I hear you screaming through your screen. You're like, I want that. Sell that in your Etsy store. No. And we had several people asking for the wood spirit I carved. No. All right. That time I did hear a really creepy howl coming from the woods. Did you hear that? If you didn't, how could you not? It sounded like a mighty lion. All right, so here, I don't know, finish this spoon. Okay, Miss Dearly, okay, my beautiful bride, a.k.a. Giggly Girl. She gets the first of everything I do, everything I make. It took me 10 days to make this spoon. You can carve out a whittle a spoon in like maybe an hour. I mean, if you cut it down enough with the bandsaw before you get in there with the knives. But I wanted this one to be as great as it could be because it's going to my wife, as did the wood spirit. So in time, when I get better, they're going to be there. But she didn't, she thought it was okay, but she had hoped the bowl would be deeper. I'm like, why? And she said, so I could get more rice. And I said, honey, you're not supposed to. And this is a true story. Dude, people are like, is he making fun of his wife? No, I'm relaying the conversation. I'm like, honey, it's art. She's like, you mean I cannot use that? And I said, well, yeah, you can use it if you want. Now, I still need to treat it with olive oil. I've been letting it dry out for the last day or so to make sure it doesn't end up with any checks or cracks. But I'm going to treat it with olive oil. I said, well, yeah, honey, you can use it, but it's like really more. She goes, it needs to be deeper so I can get more rice. So now I've got to work on deeper spoons or whatever. But here's my point. I'm almost 50. Why would I take up a new hobby at 50? Why? Because I'm not dead yet. That's why, and I want to do it. And it's like just so few people will do that. I made a video back in February. It was the last time I ran a 5K road race. I need to run another one because I'm getting bored with my training. And that really excites it up a bit when you actually compete and do a race. There was a woman in her 70s who ran that race. And I talked to her a little bit before the race. And I mentioned in that video about what an inspiration she was. Because here she is in her 70s. She's not sitting around reading the obituaries in the local paper wondering if she's going to see her name. She's still getting out there and doing that which she loves to do and doing it well. Now, probably not as well as she did it in her 20s and 30s and 40s and 50s and 60s, but she's still getting out there and doing what she loves to do because that's what she wants to do. She just wants to do it, and she's doing it. And in my mind, she's no less of a hero. She's no less of a role model than this Division I safety, Chase Chalmers, because they figured out something the majority of the people have never figured out, and that is, to thine own self be true. Do what you love simply because you love doing it, and it's something, making sure you're not hurting other people. I'm sure Chase Chalmers probably hurt some people when he hits them pretty hard once they've caught the ball. But you understand what I'm saying. Now, the world is finally coming to understand that people have been given this blank check to do that which they love to do. The biggest thing, IMHO, in my humble opinion, that has always held people back from doing that which they want to do was the same challenge that Mr. Chalmers faced when he ditched the national track championship to go to a camp at UVA football. What other people will think. What will other people think? Who gives a letter F? And we're finally getting to that point. Listen, people have not changed a bit from 1,000 years ago until today. The difference is technology, okay? Media, let's go back half a century or even a century. Things changed for maybe people who were always in the limelight, entertainers, athletes, actors, actresses, politicians. Things changed with mainstream media. On an even more macroscopic level, I don't know, macro, micro, whichever one is the most appropriate for that, things have changed for all of us due to social media. It has been bad for many years. Like Lady Gaga referred to social media as the gutter of the internet. And that's true in that, when I was a kid, a long time ago, 40 years ago, if I tripped walking down the sidewalk, 2 or 3 people might see that and might laugh. In the days of social media, if you trip on the sidewalk, and I'm using this, of course, as an example, potentially millions of people might see that and laugh, depending upon who you are, who was there with the phone, who caught it. But that does remind me, I thought this was a joke the first time I heard it until the first time it happened to me. All right, here's the joke. Do you want to know how you can tell whether or not you're old or you're young? Go out in public, go somewhere where there's a lot of people around and fall down. Just fall down. If people laugh, you're still young. If they rush toward you and ask you if you're okay, you're old. I heard that years ago and I laughed. I thought that was funny. Then about a year or so ago, I tripped on my way up to a UVA football game, I guess, on crooked sidewalk, uneven sidewalk. The lip was sticking up about that far. And like all these people coming out, all these kids, college kids, are you okay? Like, oh, I guess I'm old. So anyway, Lady Gaga was correct. But here is why I think this is a good thing now, and this is what the world's finally coming to understand. Everybody is going to judge you, period. And it's always been that way. If you've ever, 1,000 years ago, if you were to go to your friends, your family, and you'd say, I have this idea. I want to do this. I want to start wood carving. They might say, God, dude, you're almost 50. Why would you do that? You're going to learn how to do it and then die. Why waste your time starting? Be like, God, you're right. Because, 1,000 years ago, 50 was older than it is now, right? And you would let that deflate you because you felt judged and you felt like your idea was stupid. But listen, social media has shown no matter what you do, you're going to be judged. Whether you succeed at something, people are going to say how you could have done it better, or if you fail, the hordes, the masses will come in and say why you failed, what you should have done to succeeded. But either way, even in the original example, if you succeed, you're still going to be judged. And we're finally reaching a point to where most people just don't care. Yeah, seriously. You know, I don't like fake book. I despise fake book. And studies have shown that social media, Instagram, Facebook, has significantly lowered the self-esteem, particularly of adolescents, teenagers, young adults. I call it fake book for a reason. People post these, they'll pose, they'll spend hours doing their makeup, getting that perfect outfit, and get the perfect setting of the sun back there, and take a picture and put it on there and say, just another wonderful day in the neighborhood, whatever, for lack of, I couldn't think of anything very quickly, as they'd say in Charlottesville, quickly. It's fake. It's not real. And so you're one of the 10 million young people out there. It's like, God, why don't I have her life? Look at her. She's flawless. God, she even captures the sunset perfectly. My neighborhood doesn't look like that. Yeah, well, neither does hers, you know? And we all know that's not real anymore. We know it's fake. And people are developing thicker skin, so they're able to now just say the hell with it. I know they're going to judge me whether I win or whether I lose, so I'm just going to get out there and do what I love to do anyway. And they're doing it. And this is a good thing. So this is your invitation for that thing you've wanted to do, that new thing you've wanted to try, but you thought you were too old, or maybe you didn't have the skill, or you didn't have the... Don't make excuses. Get out there and freaking do it. And let me tell you, somebody's going to judge you. Somebody you live with might see you taking up your new task and make fun of you and judge you and tell you the bowl part of the spoon's not deep enough or whatever. And she wasn't judging me. She supports me 110 million %. That's why she gets number one of everything. And I love her. That's another reason. But we're finally getting to a point to where it's like the curtains have been thrown and we're seeing what's back there. A bunch of a-holes who are going to judge you. So just do what you love anyway. Hey, Chase Chalmers might have missed that national championship track meet, but he is days away, IMHO, from being a starting safety for UVA, and IMHO, kid's going to end up in the NFL someday. Young man, he's 21, he's not a kid, he's a young man, 6'2", 215, not an ounce of fat on him, nothing but muscle and skill and a wonderful mindset, because he pursues his passion, not what other people think he should do. Okay? And now, don't make excuses. Get out there and do it. Don't make excuses. A lot of people, you know, I can't do this, I can't do that because this happened to me in my life, this happened to me, blah, blah, blah. Listen, we have a new coach this year at UVA. His name's Tony Elliott. He comes up to us from Clemson. He was running the offense down there. I didn't know this until today. My son's football coach, he says, do you know anything about this guy's personal life? I'm like, no. He told me Coach Elliott's father was a drug addict, in and out of prison. Coach said he didn't know if he's even still alive or not. And then when Tony was like very young, maybe not even a teen yet, him, his mother, and his sister, and they're from California, out in California, got in a car crash, and his mother died in his arms. Tony raised his little sister. Wanted to go to college, so he did. He went to Clemson. He liked football, wanted to play football, played football. Clemson didn't know who the heck he was. He wasn't, you know, so he walked on. Tried to make it as a walk-on. Guess what? He made the team. He not only made the team, he ended up becoming the team captain. Okay, he left Clemson, went to work for a major corporation. Major corporation, and at 21 years old was head of a department over hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people because of his leadership capabilities, his leadership skills. As the coach told it to me this morning, the way it worked, his own management, his own bosses came to him and said, you have leadership abilities like we've not seen. You don't belong here. You need to get into coaching. And he did. And he's now the head coach at UVA, big Division I school. And again, this is a little bit of his personal business, but I guess it's public information. I think he was getting something like $1.8 million, close to $2 million down there at Clemson. when he interviewed at UVA, they offered him the job on the spot with the salary of $4 million. His response was, well, I need to go talk to my family about this and make sure that it's okay with them and they want to come up here to Charlottesville and the move fits us all before I can accept that offer. Because if it doesn't, gel with my entire family, we're not coming. I'm going to go home. I'm going to go back down to South Carolina. I'll be in touch and I'll let you know. And he got up and he left. And he went to the airport and he left the state. $4 million offer that he wasn't going to take it until he cleared it with his wife and kids. Another example of a man who does what he does because that's what he wants to do, and he bases all decisions upon how it affects his entire family, not just him. A lot of folks get caught up in this, well, I want to do this because of the money, or I want to do that because it allows this much money. I am fully convinced, and I always have been, if you simply follow your passions, if you follow your heart, if you do that which it is that you love to do, simply because you love to do it, you're never going to have to worry about finances. And I tell you Tony Elliott's story because I started with talking about excuses. Everybody says, well, I can't do this because of that, or this person did that to me, or I did this, went through this experience. His mother died in his arms when he was 12-ish. And then he raised his little sister. Then he walked on to a team that is a football powerhouse and became the team's captain. Would later return to be their offensive coordinator, only to leave him to end up being the head coach at a huge Division I school, one of the most prestigious universities in the world. That guy could have come up with every excuse under the sun to end up becoming, with no disrespect toward the coach, Tony Elliott, much like his father, a drug addict in and out of prison. He'd be dead right now. He's 42 years old, Coach Elliott. But he made different choices. And now he's on top of the world. And the world is finally coming to know this. The world is finally understanding this because we're seeing it everywhere, every day, because of social media. This thing that started out as Lady Gaga so apropos put it, the gutter of the internet, has given us enough examples, enough case in points that there's enough other people out there brave enough to follow their heart, follow their passion, and they're succeeding, and they're not giving a rat's backside about what other people think. They're missing national championships in one sport because their heart wants to be in the other, and they're going there and they're making it anyway. They're not being stupid. They're being true to themselves, and they're empowering the rest of us through their actions, through their efforts, through the examples that they're setting, that we can do it too. I'm going to go carve another spoon. See you for more next time. And yeah, I heard that tree knock. I think that was him, her, it, or they knocking in approval.